Steve again. Hopefully by now you have started to realize what's this dream for, and you've started some goal setting. If you haven't yet, and you're just watching this for the first time, go back and watch the intro to talk about what's this dream for, and then also watch goal setting, and find the easy way to make those little steps attainable to hitting that big goal picture. Because now what we're going to talk about is when life happens, when the hard things happen, and they kind of get you down. You kind of think, boy, what do I do from here? How do I know what to do? How do I have the mental strength to keep going? Well, what happens a lot of times when we have rough times is we confide in people, right? We vent to them and just tell them the issues if they're close to us. Sometimes they don't even have to be close to us. So what do people say at that time? A lot of the times they use a lot of cliches because, let's be honest, people don't know what to say sometimes, but they want to be helpful. They're not saying it as a bad thing, but you'll hear stuff like, hey, don't worry, every cloud has a silver lining. Or, yeah, when it rains, it pours, right? You hear a lot of these cliches. So how do we take those cliches for ourselves and turn them into something? Because they're around for a reason, right? They work for some people. They at least put them in the right state of mind. So how can we use those cliches that people are going to tell us? Because we'll hear a lot. And we'll have a few of these videos on cliches. So this one, every cloud has a silver lining. You know, how do we know that? When someone tells you that, it would be nice if they would give you a little story behind it. Like, hey, every cloud has a silver lining. As a matter of fact, this happened and blah, 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 and tell you a story to give you that hope, the reality behind that hope, I guess. Because if not, it's just all faith in cliches. Nothing wrong with having faith. Faith is a good thing to have, but once in a while, I'm the type that likes to see some reality behind something. What makes this real? Is it real? What can I see that, hey, there are some ways out? So what I do a lot of times, again, with my overthinking analytical side, is I will find things to look at. Sometimes I'll just be daydreaming off on something, staring at something, watching something, and I'll see something from that, and then my mind picks it apart and says, hey, look, this says this, doesn't it? And here's one of those instances. Because if you think about the animal world, the animal kingdom, if they want something, they have to do it, or they fail, and their failure can be death, right? If they don't build shelters, they can't go out and get a job to pay another animal to build their shelter for them, right? If they don't go out and hunt their food, they can't take some extra money that they have and drive to fast food or go pay someone to cook their food for them. They do it or they die, basically, right? So with that mindset, one day, I know this is going to be a heavy, very analytical thought, but this is what helps me with those dissecting of those cliches to see the reality behind it. So one day I was looking out my kitchen window, and it just all of a sudden started raining, and that rain turned into just one of the hardest downpours I have seen. Just coming straight down. The wind's not even blowing, just a straight down hard rain. My attention got brought up to this pine tree that was up to my right, and there were about 10 sparrows up in that tree. And when that rain started pouring hard, about 6 of them took off. They just flew instantly. And for a split second, I'm thinking, why didn't those other birds go? What are they doing? And about that time, a few of them just kind of looked down to their right and then just dropped down to the ground. So I'm looking out the window, what in the world is going on? They are down there feasting. Those birds are feasting on all those little insects, the moths, the bugs. You know, when you walk through the grass, a whole bunch of bugs you end up kicking up, right? The little moths, the little insects, the little, walking insects, the flying insects, whatever they may be. Well, it was raining so hard that the ground wasn't able to absorb all the rain. So it was flooding out those bugs. And those birds noticed that, dropped down to take advantage of that situation, and feasted. Is feasted the word? I don't know, it is now. They had a feast like you wouldn't believe. So the way I dissected that with my brain later after thinking about it was, you know what? When it rains, it pours. When things look rough, they can get a lot more rough than what you think they are now. But what do? What are you going to do when things get rough? Are you going to be those first 6 birds that just took off for cover and wait till things get good and then go out there and take the little scrapings that you can find most days? Or are you going to be those few birds that when it rains and it pours and things get rough, do you stop a second and look around to see what opportunities might arise? Does that cloud have a silver lining? And when they looked down and saw that, they dropped and they had a feast on those bugs. So when it rains, it pours. That cloud had a silver lining for them. Now you might be telling me, hey Steve, you know what? Great story, but some days I feel like those bugs. I feel like those bugs that I just can't win. It's pouring so hard, there's no way out. I go to escape and I'm eaten by birds. Well, this goes back to what I talked about in the very first intro with optimistically pessimist. Whatever you're looking at, whatever situation you're in, whatever life you're in, look at worst case scenarios, have a backup plan to get out, have a backup plan in case that worst case scenario happens, and then plan and work towards the best. Those bugs would have had other ways if they think like that, I guess, if you look at it that way. So again, every cloud has a silver lining. Look at the cliches when people tell you that. They're not doing it to be rude. They're not doing it to be careless. But what do you say to someone when they're having hard times? The easiest thing to say sometimes are the cliches. So it's going to be up to you to find those cliches. When things are rough and hard, look around. Look around for those opportunities, that silver lining, and capitalize when you thought there was no way. So, I'm hoping you've got that dream figured out. I'm hoping you've made some plans for some goal setting. And now we're going to be looking at other videos of what to do when life happens and how to dig apart these cliches and do these cliches really work for life. They do. Hopefully the one that I dissected for you can help you. So, do you have any cliches or any sayings that are common that you have found some truth or facts behind in your own mind that have worked for you, that have helped you through? If you do, please comment those below. Again, the whole intent is to help others if we can too. Again, thanks for watching. Go ahead and subscribe. And like the video if you did like it. If it's not for you, share it to somebody you think it might be for, that's going through a rough time, that might need to hear this. And keep an eye out for the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.